Hello friends, Those Back Pages here. I hope you're well. Tonight's episode is going to be my 10 ballot entries for the 2019 Sports Card YouTube Hall of Fame. Let me start out by thanking Mike, baseball collector, for taking all the time that he does to run this. It's a lot of work. I also want to thank him for coming up with this idea last year for when it was started up last year. I was active in the community for only a few months. And honestly, I learned a lot from watching everyone's submission videos and reading the lists of names they provided, seeing names I did not know. Reading over the lists, I saw a name like Pepino Man. I saw 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people say, I nominate Pepino Man. Having not known who Pepino Man was, I figured, well, if this many people are nominating this guy, this channel, maybe I should check it out. So I did. If you guys don't know who Pepino Man is by now, you're probably watching the wrong channel. Anyhow, I want to stress how important it is to make a video response on a platform that is video based. YouTube is about videos. So be proud of yourself. Make videos. Okay, that's enough blabbing for me. On with the show. My first nominee is Ground Chuck. Kyle. Check out Kyle's videos. He's a big TTMer, huge Andre Dawson fan. Posted a rather large Edgar Martinez collection. Collects through the mail and has probably one of the most epic signature one-of-one cards that he hands out that are well known within the card community. Using my favorite Nordiques logo as the N. That stood out to me right away when I first discovered who Chuck was on YouTube. I've known Chuck for a long time on Twitter. Next up, my second nomination. In case I lose count, I'll just say next up from now on. Joey Brings It. What more needs to be said about Joey? Can't blame him. It's not his fault he lives in Cali. Not everyone on the West Coast is bad, and Joey's proof of that. We all know the East Coast is the Beast Coast. But none the matter. Watching Joey's videos is dangerous. Not only is his collection amazing, it makes you want to collect what he's showing on your screen. Very dangerous. His videos are always well thought out, and he's a great collector. So I'm proud to nominate Joey Brings It. Next up, Mark from Kentucky, or Mark from KY. Get your perverted mind out of the gutter. Mark is a fellow Mets fan, so that's always good in my book. But regardless, Mark's collection is fantastic. He's always challenging the community with his rather famous $100 challenge. Mark's been doing this a while, so I recommend, if you've not seen his channel, please give him a look, and I really doubt you'll be anything less than completely satisfied. My next nomination is Nuff Said Cards. Andrew burst onto the scene in late 2017, I believe it was. And his pre-war knowledge is absolutely incredible. Not only is his knowledge incredible, but his willing to share his knowledge is also completely incredible. And his collection is massively Red Sox based, but we won't hold that against him. He has an amazing up-and-coming postcard collection, and prior to meeting Andrew, I never even gave any postcards a thought. So there's that. That's always a good thing. I remember when I first discovered Andrew, he had that Piedmont sign in the background, which he still refuses to give to me, even though I beg on a monthly basis. I'm just kidding. He is very generous, not only with his time, but with his giving away stuff, as evident in his last video, where he just says, you claim it if you want it. I claim the sign, but my request went unanswered. Next up, Rena Martin, John. If you're not following John's channel, you're really missing out. The guy has a legendary man cave, possibly one of the best on YouTube. He is a slab collector, but in a unique, amazing way, in my opinion. He's not worried about the grade. So when I tell people we shouldn't down talk our cards, that's kind of what I mean. He's very proud of many of his 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Doesn't matter to him. He owns the card, and he's put together complete Hall of Fame collections via slab, be it PSA or SGC, of 54 tops, about 53 tops. He has a ton of autograph 8x10s, so go give him a check out there. Look, Rena Martin. Next up, probably the greatest YouTube name of all time. Anyone over the age of 35 will definitely recognize this, and will most likely never forget it if you've not seen him before. She blinded me with refractors. Just an amazing name. Go ahead, read it again. She blinded me with refractors. How jealous are you that you did not come up with that name? I know I am. Andy is a huge collector of the 1994 Topps Finest Football refractor set, and his collection in PSA form is quite massive and impressive. He also is building up a unopened collection, and started up a new feature with one of his best friends he's known since childhood. Grown Men Talking Baseball Cards, I believe it is. And he collects all 3 sports. I guess we'll just say all 3 sports, because most people don't like hockey. But he's got football, he's got baseball, and he's got a ton of basketball knowledge as well. So definitely go give She Blinded Me with Refractors a look. Next up, Snoop 12922 Xavier. When I asked him, do you mind, should I call you Xavier? Should I call you Snoop? when I first spoke with him. He says, call me Snoop, that's fine. Most of my family calls me Snoop. Most of them don't even know my real name, or some of them. Something funny to that effect, which was a great icebreaker. And Xavier, or Snoop, is a great member of this community. His Around the Hobby segment is a great summation of what's going on at the time, and actually makes a great time capsule if you want to go back and watch the old ones and see how they turned out. So definitely go give Snoop a look if you haven't already. Next up, the Murph 398, Donnie. Donnie's been doing this for a few years. Very consistent, steady content, a lot of mail days, and there's a lot of contests. Collects Braves. I don't hold that against him. Has a rather impressive NFL 1,000-yard rusher collection in PSA form. And like myself, enjoys collecting fine nines. Sees the value in them as a collector. So definitely go give Donnie a look. Next up, Wesker Griff. Ed. What more needs to be said about Ed? Ed's been doing this a long time. Great guy. Lots of knowledge, especially on Philly sports teams. Spreads his knowledge out. Always willing to lend a helping hand. His hunt for, I believe he calls it, is very legendary. The hunt for the Mookie. Now he's hunting for Arenado and Yelich, but I think he has Arenado. But not much more needs to be said about Ed. I don't hold that he's from Philly against him. Ed's a great guy. I'm very proud to nominate Ed. Lastly, for 2019, YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame nominations. First, I want to say that can't name everybody. There's a lot of great guys out there. And in my earlier YouTube videos, I've shared a bunch of please check outs, and I'll continue to do that when I discover new people, because the best way in this community is to spread the love and spread the word. 2020 YouTube Hall of Fame is going to be a lot tougher, if that's even possible, than 2019. There's a lot of up-and-comers. A lot of people I looked up that were surprised that they failed to meet the criteria. Just haven't been around long enough, and will be around long enough next year. Names that come to mind immediately. Passion for Cards, Matt in Virginia. A League of Their Own, Caitlin. And Blue Jacket 66, Dave. So if you're not watching those channels, go ahead and watch them now, because they'll be YouTube Hall of Famers in a year. For my final nomination for this year, 2019, Zombie Collector, Jason. If you're into the live aspect of YouTube, live video, live chatting, you'll know how difficult it is to, constantly, not necessarily every day, but 3, 4, 5 times a week go live and actually be interesting and converse with your audience. It's very tough. I've never done it myself. I've thought about it, but it's rather daunting. Sure, it's easy enough for me to sit here and use my hands, and I've shown face videos. That's not the problem. But it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of guts. And, not only does Jason have those 2 boxes of 93 SP baseball, one which he promised me for my nomination, Of course, I'm just kidding. But not only does he have that and many other cards, but his hobby knowledge as a hobbyist is expansive and constantly learning new stuff that he's into, that he knows about. For example, if you have a DVD question, definitely reach out to Jason. He's told me of... I asked him point blank, is his collection is plus or minus 2,000? He kind of laughed. Over 2,000. So that's mighty impressive in my book. But I really enjoy channels that are multifaceted. And the like. Well, I want to thank you. This is a very long video. But I wanted to, at closing, I wanted to point out that you matter. Always learning. Keep on learning. Share your knowledge. Get out and vote. It's fun. I know it ain't easy, but it's fun. And keep collecting.